All right, listen up, you beautiful bastards. This is Iggy, your announcer, and you just stumbled across the rudest show on the net. Now, this ain't your grandma's podcast. So if you're looking for the politically correct fairy tales that we all have been force-fed, you better change the channel right now, 'cause we're about to get real. So, buckle up, Buttercup. We're about to take off on a no-holds-barred journey through the twisted landscape of his mind. It's gonna be one hell of a ride, and I promise you'll never see things the same way again. Remember, folks, I'm just the messenger. Blame the voices. Now, let's get this shit show started. Let's bring out the ringmaster himself as the voices in his head are dying to get out. Smoke him if you got them.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rebel has entered the studio.
Beautiful bastards, welcome to another episode of the Rebel Awesome Show. And I'm your host, Rebel, and today we're going to be diving into something just a little bit different. We're going to be talking about Sabrina Carpenter. Yep, that's right. We're talking about the little pint-sized pop princess who's been climbing the charts and making waves in Hollywood and the music scene. She's known for her little no-nonsense outros that she's been doing. We're gonna figure out how she became the big pop star she is today. Now, for those of you living under a fucking rock, let me give you a quick rundown. Now, Sabrina is that blonde firecracker who started out as a Disney darling, and somehow managed to escape the House of Mouse without a public meltdown or a stint in rehab. I mean, come on, that's pretty impressive, right? But before we dive into the Sabrina saga, let's take a moment to appreciate just how rare this is in the world of child stars. What am I talking about? Well, we've seen more train wrecks in Hollywood than a century of railroad history. I mean, come on, take Lindsay Lohan, for example. She went from an adorable twin in The Parent Trap to, well, let's just say she got trapped in a whole kind of other parent issues along with a lot of other issues. And then you got Miley Cyrus, she swung from Hannah Montana to coming across stage in a wrecking ball faster than you can say twerk. But this shit isn't new. I mean, we're talking about a tradition as old as Hollywood itself. I mean, come on, remember Judy Garland? For those that remember, the girl that sang about rainbows and then ended up chasing a whole different kind of color spectrum. It's bad. And then let's not forget Shirley Temple. I mean, she went through a lot of stuff as a child too, but for the most part, she came out okay. And all that stuff, research it. If you don't know, research it, because it is pretty dark and pretty despairing. So to see somebody like Sabrina Carpenter come out, for the most part, unscathed, I mean, we really don't know, because she doesn't tell us a lot about her history with Disney other than, the highlights that we already know. So, I mean, in a way, that's kind of a good thing. But the fact is, growing up in the spotlight is like trying to navigate puberty with a million judgmental ants watching your every move. I mean, come on. It's a miracle any of these kids make it out alive, let alone sane. I mean, we just had that episode, that whole documentary on Nickelodeon and everything else come out. I mean, it's crazy to see her become this big bomb of a pop star and go viral and do what she wants to do is amazing. So when you look at Sabrina Carpenter, it's really like watching a unicorn prance across a minefield. I mean, somehow this girl has managed to transition from Disney darling to a pop star without imploding. No rehab, no public meltdowns, no questionable tattoos, at least that we know of. I mean, it's almost suspicious, really. I mean, what's your secret, Sabrina? I mean, is there a deal with the devil? Is it a clone? Or maybe, I don't know, this is crazy talk. Actually, it's all about talent and good support. Whatever it is, I mean, we've got to give credit where credit is due. In a world where child stardom is practically a one-way ticket to the Where Are They Now episodes, Sabrina's not surviving. She's thriving. And that, my friends, is rare than a sober night in Hollywood. Now let's jump back a few years. Let's talk about how she became the sensation she is today and see where she goes from there. But picture this. a little blonde firecracker from Quakertown, Pennsylvania. Yes, the little small 9,000 rural community. I mean, it's just crazy how a lot of these big actors you see today come from these little small communities, but transplanted it into the thriving metropolis of East Greenville. I know. Try to contain your excitement. This pint-sized powerhouse, the baby of the family, she had 3 older sisters. She had this big passion for music that couldn't be contained in this small town. Now, back in the Stone Age, before TikTok was a thing, little Sabrina, she was like belting out covers of Christina Aguilera, Adele. She was uploading them to YouTube. So at a young age, she's already had the passion for music and the passion for entertainment. And so get this. So, all right, she was old school, which was cool. And it was really cool before cool, old school became cool. But now get this, her dad, well, he wasn't just another clueless parent wondering why his kid was yelling at the computer screen or dancing around all funny and everything else. No, this guy saw the fire in his daughter's eyes and did what a sensible father should be doing, encouraging. He built her a fucking recording studio in their house, talking about supportive family. And let me tell you, that is what's missing with all these child stars that you see that's gone down the wrong path. It's the parents. It's the support system of the studios, because the studios don't care. They just want to make the bucks. And the parents see that it's a meal ticket. Some of them do. Now there are a lot of parents that do try to take control, but you still got to fight the studios. But that's a whole nother story. Now, so I don't know. This is why we see so many of them. I mean, we see so many of them crash and burn before they can even legally buy a beer. I mean, you have Macaulay Culkin, hooked on drugs there for a while, hooked on alcohol. Lindsay Lohan, in and out of rehab. Miley Cyrus, she had her issues. I mean, all of them. I mean, hell, even back in our day, we lost like Corey Feldman, and a lot of those from depression, suicide, so substance abuse and things like that. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, a lot of good actors that were growing up in the industry, but they lack that crucial support system. Family at that age isn't just important; it's a goddamn foundation. I mean, that's a whole other can of worms that we could open up. Though that's a whole nother story, a whole nother podcast on supportive and nurture versus nature and all that. So we'll get into that some other time. But right now, I mean, growing up, Sabrina's family's life wasn't just normal. I mean, it was downright wholesome. I mean, her mom was a former dancer turned chiropractor. I mean, so, she got a little bit of talent from that. And her dad was in a garage band. So, she grew up with music. She grew up with entertainment. She grew up with all of the stuff that makes good entertainers nowadays. But here's where it gets interesting. Before she packed up and moved to the glitz and glamour of LA, our little girl Sabrina, she was already making waves. Back in 2009, at the ripe old age of 10, she even placed 3rd in the next Miley Cyrus project. Yeah, I had to look that one up. And it was actually a thing. Go look it up. But yeah, like we needed another Hannah Montana Miley Cyrus. I mean, she's turned out pretty good now, but anyways. And here's another little tidbit that'll blow your mind. Sabrina's aunt. Do you all know who Sabrina's aunt is? This blew my mind when I found out, it's none other than Nancy Cartwright. Oh, you don't recognize the name? Well, think of the little orange dude that sits there and has been around or the animated TV series, I think like on Fox or something like that for several. She is the voice of Bart Simpson. That's right. So her aunt, Sabrina's aunt, is Nancy Cartwright, which is the voice of Bart, which is pretty cool. I thought it was pretty awesome. But she's got entertainment in her system. She was born into it. She knew it. She knew at a younger age what she wanted. So that's why it really, really, when I started researching her, really, really got me intrigued about her life and career. So there you have it. It's a small town girl with big voice, supportive family, and a dash of Hollywood in her DNA already. It's like a recipe for success, right? If success wore mouse ears and sang pop songs. But hey, we all got to start somewhere. Now let's talk about Sabrina's road to LA. At the ripe old age of 13, she decided that it was time to ditch the Quaker state and head to the land of broken dreams and overpriced avocado toast. Yes, I'm talking about Los Angeles, Hollywood. Now you might be thinking, well, what the hell is a 13-year-old doing moving across country? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because that's showbiz, baby. Now, the whole Carpenter clan did not pack up and move. Nope. It was just Sabrina and her mom, Elizabeth, making the trek to the La La Land. Talk about a mother-daughter bonding experience. Nothing says family like uprooting your life and driving headfirst into shark-infested waters of Hollywood. Now, you might think that with her Disney connections and her aunt's voice acting cred, that Sabrina would have waltzed right into a starring role. But, life's not a fairy tale. I mean, even for Disney. Our girl had to pay her dues like everyone else. I mean, she started out doing voice work, probably figuring out it was good enough for Aunt Nancy. Why not good enough for her? But let's get real. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. I mean, Sabrina faced her fair shares of rejections, just like anybody else. I mean, she probably got more thanks but no thanks than a door-to-door salesman selling screen doors to a submarine captain. Come on. But did I stop her? Nope. The kid had more determination than a bulldog with a bone. Finally, after what probably felt like an eternity, which was probably only like a year or so, she did land her big break. At age 14, she snagged the starring role in what we know her from as the Disney Channel Girl Meets World. And just like that, the little Pennsylvania firecracker was on her way to becoming a household name. Now let's dive into the Sabrina's Disney days. I mean, picture this. Fresh-faced kid from Pennsylvania, suddenly thrust into the glittering world of the Disney Channel. I mean, you're talking about a culture shock now. But she landed the role of Maya Hart on Girl Meets World in 2014. And let me tell you, it was like watching a caterpillar trying to navigate a butterfly's world. I mean, Maya was the rebellious, tough-as-nail sidekick, pretty much the polar opposite of Sabrina. I mean, it was like Disney looked at her and thought, let's give this sugar cookie an edge. And boy, did they try. But here's where it gets interesting. Sabrina's been pretty tight-lipped about her Disney days, so she's dropped some breadcrumbs. Like in recent interviews, she spilled that. She said, like, for a long time, she was constantly guided and misguided. So what does that mean? I mean, with what's going on in today's world and society, with everything else coming out, you really just don't know. But in a long time, sometimes it's better not to know, because, airing your dirty laundry out's not always the best thing for you. I think a lot of those people that air it out, they're trying to get their edge back and their attention back and all that. But I'm sure there's probably some things, that she's not wanting to talk about, anything like that. I'm not trying to get anything out there, but it just with everything going on and her being part of that world. I mean, that world might already been ended by that time too. But just knowing how Hollywood has treated child stars over the years, I'm really glad that she's come out to be what she is. But, they're probably not, in all actuality, they're probably just like telling her, you got to dress this way. You can't talk this way. You got to be this way. You got to act the part, right down to even know how to breathe. But here's the kicker. All that guidance and misguidance wasn't for anything, So Sabrina's not bitter about it. In fact, she says that she is grateful. She is quoted or stated in interviews, she says that she's grateful for all those times, because it made her a lot more equipped going into situations. She trusts her own instincts now. So basically turns all those lemons of all of that time she spent in child Hollywood and turned it into something positive. Now, the transition from onset life to offset life, let's just say it probably wasn't all pixies and dust. pixie dust and magic wands, things like that you think. Imagine trying to be a normal teenager with millions of kids watching you every move. See, I think that's kind of what like happened with Miley, Lindsay, and all of them is like they try to, I'm sure they were probably introduced to a lot of things that kids should not be introduced to during the Hollywood days, but they also had that persona to keep up. They had to be perfect and they were trying to break out, and what other way to break out is to be rebellious and do things you're not supposed to do. And but Sabrina, bless her heart, she managed to navigate it all without ending up in the tabloid or even in rehab. I mean, that's really a Disney miracle if you've ever seen one. Now, here's where Sabrina really showed her chops. I mean, instead of letting Disney mold her into another cookie cutter pop princess, she used this time where she basically used Disney as a springboard. She took all those lessons, the good, the bad, the Mickey Mouse shaped, and used them to shape her own identity, basically. I mean, by the time she left Disney, she wasn't just another child star trying to grow up. She was a savvy young woman who knew how to play the game. She took control of her image, her music, and her career. And let me tell you, it's definitely paid off. But, today's Sabrina is not just surviving in the spotlight. I mean, she is literally like thriving, blowing up, going viral. I mean, however you want to put it, she is climbing very, very fast. She's gone from Disney darling to a bona fide pop sensation. I mean, her latest album, come on, it's a far cry from the bubblegum pop Disney probably wanted her to turn out when she was with Hollywood Music. I mean, it's mature, it's edgy, and it's all about Sabrina. It's about her. It's her own image, her own brand. So the girl who went into Disney Machine and came out not as a cookie cutter star, but as her own damn bakery, basically. I mean, and that, my friends, is how you turn a mousetrap into a launching pad. She did it perfect. Now let's talk about her life between like 2017, 2021, because this girl was busy as hell during that time. So Girl Meets World went off the air in 2017. Her Disney acting career started to wind down, but she was already producing music and stuff like that with Hollywood Records. In 2017, she decided to make it on her own. She dropped her third studio album while with Hollywood Records called Singular Act 1 in 2018. And in 2019, I mean, she must have not have slept for like days and weeks and everything else, because then she dropped Act 2 in 2019. So you're talking about an overachiever. But she also knows what she wanted. She knows what she wants to accomplish. So she's working for it. And she's young. I mean, come on. I mean, it was like trying to make the rest of us look bad or something. I mean, but our girl wasn't content with just making music. Oh no, she had to go on tour. She had to, get in with the biggest names in the biz. I mean, come on, from 2017 to 2019, I mean, she was rubbing elbows with bands like The Vamps, Ariana Grande, Jonas Blue. I mean, who needs sleep when you can be on the tour, right? Just to prove that she could do it all on her own, she headlined the Singular tour in 2019. Because why open for someone else when you can, be the main event? And this is what kicked it off. This is what fired her up into being more. I mean, she made she was already a successful singer. She was getting into the spotlight. She was getting into the limelight. She was getting the media press. She was getting the attention and the coverage to make her big. But, now some of the other things she did between that time, I mean, not just making music, but she was also dipping her toes into the business pool. From 2017 to 2019, she was on the faces of Converse. I mean, she was a brand ambassador for Aeropostale. I mean, because apparently, a triple threat wasn't enough, so she had to go and add fashion icon to her resume as well. But wait, there's more. In March of 2020, she decided to casually make her Broadway debut as Cathy Heron in Mean Girls. Just a little side gig, but unfortunately, we had that nasty shutdown and pandemic and everything else hit us. So it kind of became a party pooper and cut the run short. But still, come on, Broadway. That's a big accomplishment. So kudos to her for that. Now that's some serious cred right there you can put on a resume, being in Broadway. But, let's jump on into 2021, because like I said, there wasn't a lot doing back then. So now the year Sabrina really hit her stride was in 2021. So she dumped Hollywood Records. She signed with Island Records, which I'm sure they probably gave, a bigger audience, a different audience, so that she could grow in. Because Hollywood Records was basically, you were going to stay like with the teenage pop stars and stuff like that. So being with, Island Records, a bigger, more adult, I would say, version of a record company, is why she went with them. I mean, during that time in 2021, she dropped the song Skin, which, the little tune, I mean, it peaked at number 48 on the Billboard the Hot 100. I mean, that's not bad. That's very impressive. But especially for somebody just coming out into the scene, 4 years from being, this Disney icon to, trying to make her way in the music career in just 4 years, hitting number 48. And that's pretty good. But, this is where it gets juicy, so the song Skin, it just wasn't any old song. It was allegedly a response to Olivia Rodrigo's Driver's License song that dropped. The little tune that broke the internet, that got her really up there in the view of everybody. But yeah, so the whole drama, there was some drama behind Skin and Driver's License. So there was a whole drama involving Sabrina, Olivia, and Joshua Bassett. I mean, it was literally like a real life Disney Channel movie, but with more chart-topping hits and less cheesy dialogue. But the gist of it was that Olivia and Joshua were a thing. Then they weren't, and suddenly Sabrina and Joshua, just like anything else Hollywood-wise, paparazzi, blah, 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 snap, 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 were spotted together. So Olivia drops the Driver's License with the line in it about the blonde girl. And of course, the internet goes crazy, the wild, paparazzi, all the media, the record, the music industry just goes nuts, all the fans. So Sabrina, being the little rebel she was, responded with Skin. So basically saying, hey, I'm just living my life here, leave me alone. It's just like watching a tennis match, but instead of balls, they're lobbing chart-topping hits at each other. I mean, you see this a lot. You see this a lot in Hollywood when things come down. I mean, hell, look at Taylor Swift. I mean, 90% of her songs are all about her breakups. So if she didn't date and break up, she might not be where she's at today. But so between 2017 and 2021, she went from Disney darling to bona fide pop star, with the side of Broadway, fashion, and drama thrown in for good measure. It's not enough to make your head spin, isn't it? But our girl Sabrina, she landed it all like a pro, because that's just how she rolls. Now let's dive into the whirlwind that was Sabrina Carpenter's career from 2021 to 2023. This is when she really started to explode. This is where it went from who's that to holy shit, she's everywhere type of stardom. I mean, it went really, really fast. So in 2021, she decided to ditch the mouse ears and signed, like I said, signed with Island Records. She dropped Skin, became number 48 on the Billboard. And then 2022 rolled around, and then she unleashed Emails I Can't Send. This album was like the middle finger to her squeaky clean image. This is where she changed. This is where she was moving from getting away from the Disney stereotype, the child star stereotype, and finding her adult voice and finding her adult world, So this is the transition line. So Emails I Can't Send, that was her, and people loved it. When I first started listening to her on I didn't even know it was her to start out with, because I used to watch that show growing, I used to watch that show when it came out for a little while because I liked Boy Meets World, so I knew Girl Meets World was the sequel to it. But just imagine that, she made it that far was really awesome to see, considering, what I knew about what Hollywood went through with kid stars and everything else. But anyways, the emails I can't send, this was like, it peaked at like number 23, I think, on the Billboard 200, which was pretty damn impressive for someone who used to sing about homework and crushes. I mean, she moved fast to get out of that limelight and out of that image of being a child star. But again, something else happened, it gets more interesting, No Nonsense from that album went viral on TikTok faster than you can say, the last dance craze. So this is when TikTok started, 2019, 2020, 2021, TikTok is starting to kick off, starting to get better. This, 2022, 2023, they're starting to remember the days of YouTube when music artists were getting found on YouTube. Well, TikTok is now taking its place and music artists are getting found on TikTok more than YouTube. So when TikTok boosted her, with all the dances and everything else, her song, No Nonsense, it peaked at number 56 on the Hot 100. Got certified platinum. Now that's 1 million units. That's 1 million units for those who can't count that high. I mean, even cracked the top 10 on the US pop airplay chart. Not bad for a song. I mean, not bad at all for a start out, just getting her name out there. But okay, so let's jump on in. We're getting further into 2022. Now she's getting a tour. Now she's starting her tours. Emails I can't send to her. This just wasn't any other tour. This was an 80 show extravaganza. I mean, it spanned across 6 legs across North America, South America, Europe, and Asia. I mean, that's pretty damn good for someone of her age to be in experience and time in the industry to actually get an 80 show tour going on. I mean, she's like nonstop. Since she jumped into the music scene, she has been nonstop. She's put the effort, the work, the blood, sweat, and tears. Let us hope she can sustain it. But the tour kicked off in September of 2022 in Atlanta and wrapped up in August of 2023 in Chicago. So that's almost a year nonstop performing. I mean, can you imagine 80 shows in less than 365 days? I mean, Jesus, that is a lot of traveling, a lot of prepping, a lot of non-sleep. I mean, yeah, I'd give big kudos to her. It makes me tired just thinking about it. Okay, so wait, there's even more. So now in 2023, she got that golden ticket. Miss Taylor Swift herself invited her to go on the Latin America leg of the RLS tour. Hope I'm saying that right. And, that's like being asked to warm up for God. If God wore sparkly outfits and wore songs, wrote songs about her exes. I mean, come on. I mean, I really don't think that Taylor Swift is a god, but again, that's a whole nother topic. But no, I mean, she got invited to go to that tour, the one that Taylor Swift, I don't think ever came off of. I mean, it seemed like it went on forever, but now let's go on for those infamous outros. That's what she's famous for right now. You see all the, the takes, the shorts, the YouTube or the TikToks, everything else of her outros, So she started incorporating these little improvised bits at the end of the Nonsense, the song Nonsense during her performance on the Erasure tour. Arias, I know I'm murdering that, but oh well. These outros became a viral sensation on TikTok, like I said, and YouTube, and with Sabrina changing them up to reflect, each tour stop. So it was like a game of where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, but with more glitter and pop music. I mean, they really I think they really enhanced her viewership and her image a little bit better to, get her out there in the world more, just because of what they were. Yeah, are some of them a little scandalous, I guess, if you want to say, but hey, she's having fun with them. I mean, it's all about fun. So the story behind the outros, I mean, she did, like I said, it was just fun. She changed up some lyrics. She threw in local slang, even made maybe jokes about weather. There was a couple of promiscuous ones I know that she did, but it was spontaneous. It was fun and people loved it. It drove the fans wild. It was like getting a personalized concert experience. But come on, let's be real. Who doesn't love feeling special? I mean, when you tailor something that really gets people's emotions up and connects, you connect with your audience that way. And that's way a real entertainer should do it, is connect with your audience. But by the end of 2023, she'd gone from girl who vaguely remembered from Disney, because by this time people really don't mention much about her Disney, because everything that she's done has erased it. She was basically a bona fide pop sensation. She jumped faster in the world of pop than Taylor Swift did when she transformed from country to pop. She was performing at places like the MTV Music Awards, singing nonsense on Jimmy Kimmel Live, which, I mean, if you like watching him, generally making the rest of us feel like very, very much underachievers. But, because 2023, hang on there, because 2023 is just a warm up. Because in 2024, she decided to set the music world on fire. I mean, she dropped Espresso in April. Espresso. Let me tell you, I mean, it was hotter than a fresh cup of joe on a summer day. I mean, the little banger not only topped the Billboard globally 200, but also peaked at number 3 on the Hot 100. Now, like I said, that's not too shabby for somebody just jumping in, getting her, basically she's just getting her feet wet. I mean, she's only 4 years in. She's 3 years in. She's getting her feet wet. But I mean, she's like immersed all the way now. I mean, she's yeah. But wait, there's more. In June, she followed up with Please, 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 which I love that song, which became her first U.S. Hot 100 number 1 single. So she went from little chart toppers faster than you could say the Mickey Mouse Club. And now she's coming out with, in August, I think it was, she dropped her Short and Sweet, kind of resembles, I'm sure that probably came about, things that she's done, her career's been short and sweet. So this bad boy dropped in August 2024, is debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200s. And get this, it went platinum in just 35 days. That's faster than most people can finish binge watching a Netflix series. Think about it. Platinum. 35 days. But, she just hasn't been content with just dominating the charts. I don't know, she had to go and make history too. She was the first female artist to have 3 songs in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 for 7 consecutive weeks. She literally wiped out Taylor Swift. That's like winning the music industry lottery, hitting the jackpot, and then finding out you inherited a small country all in the same day. I mean, come on, that is pretty freaking good. I'm not going to lie. But let's jump into her tours. I mean, in the Short and Sweet tour, I mean, it kicked off just last month. I mean, in September. And it's her first arena tour. Yeah, that's right. She went from singing in her bedroom to selling out arenas. She's only 25. I mean, come on. And she's not just performing, but she's putting a whole goddamn show. She's spinning bottles on stages to choose surprise cover songs. She's keeping her fans on their toes. She is an entertainer. I'm sorry. Screw going out, playing a piano in the middle of the rain. Screw all that stuff. When you engage with your audience like this, that is what's going to make you explode even more. Because the audiences feel that you really care about them and you love having them there to listen to you. And I think she does. I think she gets her energy and everything else from the audience being there. Kind of like back in the days of like Queen, Eddie Mercury used to get the audience revved up, and he talked about how getting, the feeling that he had for having the audience sing his songs for the first time, things like that. It's crazy. But, so let's look ahead. Now has Sabrina got big plans? I mean, she's teased a Netflix holiday special called No Nonsense Christmas with Sabrina Carpenter. And get this, she's just not starring in it, she's producing it. Because apparently being in front of the camera isn't enough, so she's got to be behind the camera too. But here's the kicker. I mean, Sabrina's just not riding the wave of success. She's surfing it like a pro. I mean, she had an interview with Time that said, "I'm so grateful for all those times where I was led astray, because now I'm a lot more equipped going into situations where I have to trust my own instincts." So our girl's just not talented. All of the stuff that's happened to her from the time she moved to LA and stuff has made her wise beyond her years. She knows how to get through all of the waves and crap that goes through Hollywood and the music industry. So I think, she's got a good solid head on her shoulders. And like I said, for the 3 years that she's been into it, and I'm sure she like sits back and watches too. I mean, she learns from what she does. She doesn't just go out there for the whole thing of just making money. She goes out there to perform. She goes out there for her audiences and stuff like that. So that's the reason why I really like Sabrina Carpenter. In the beginning, I was like, see how far it goes. But yeah, she's made a lot of strides in just a few years. But in all seriousness, though, Sabrina's career's trajectory is looking steeper than a roller coaster, at Six Flags. I mean, with her talent, her drive, and her newfound confidence, I mean, even her own instincts, I mean, the sky is the limit. And if her past few years of any indication, I mean, she's not just going to reach for the stars. She's going to grab them and autograph every single one of them and sell them as a merch on the next tour. I mean, come on. She's got it. She's going places. She's young. She got into the new generation of music and everything else just at the right time, so I think she can transform as it progresses now, because she knows how to maneuver through all of it. So I think as the sound changes, I think that she will be able to change along with it. And I think she will stay on top of everything, just because of the way that she runs her career. I mean, and all the support she has. Like I said, the biggest thing about it is your family support. They're not, if you have family that's supporting you in your endeavors and they're not trying to profit off of you, I hate to keep bringing Taylor Swift up, but I mean, look at Taylor Swift. I mean, I think her family kind of like, there's like a little profit machine there for a while, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. I have the right to my opinion for the next 8 days anyway. So, but yeah, so like I said, her talent, her drive, I mean, in the past few years, she's gonna reach for the stars. She's gonna take them. So with that, I mean, now let's take a moment to appreciate the sheer magnitude of what she's accomplished. I mean, this girl's gone from Disney Channel darling to pop sensation in a blink of an eye. I mean, she's just not climbing the charts. I mean, she's rewriting them seriously. And she's doing it all with the grace and prose, the poise that frankly, gets a lot under some people's skins, because they get jealous. People that are jealous because they can't do it themselves. So they're pissed off and jealous because other people are doing it. But the $1 million question that's been on my mind, and I'm sure a lot of people's mind that has been around and watched these actors or these entertainers come up as fast as she does. How long can she keep it up? I mean, Taylor Swift's been in it for years, turning out hits and making stadiums swoon. But I mean, you can tell she's kind of, I think she's kind of slowing down now, but she went for that way for a long time, but it took her longer to get to where she was at. But here's the thing, Carpenter's rise has been a meteoric. I mean, that she has exploded. I mean, she's accomplished in a few years what takes most decades. So at this rate, she might just give Taylor a run for her money, and I think she's going to outsurpass Taylor Swift. I'm not going to lie. I think she will. That's my prediction for Sabrina Carpenter. I think she's going to overtake the queen of pop, Miss Swift, and I think she's going to take her out. But I mean, it is time for her to hang up. I mean, she's been around for a while. It's time for her to step aside, let somebody else take the lead, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. But what really sets Sabrina apart is that she made it out of the child star meat grinder and pretty much relatively unscathed. There was no public meltdowns, no rehab stints, no questionable tattoos again, like we know of. But in the world of former Disney stars, it's like surviving a zombie apocalypse. I mean, with all your limbs attached, come on. Now, I'm sure there's probably some untold stories. This is Hollywood after all, but sometimes it's better not to air dirty laundry. I mean, in the age of where oversharing has become the norm, there's something refreshing about a star who keeps a little mystery, So here's to you, Sabrina Carpenter. You've navigated the treacherous waters of child stardom and came out the other side, not just surviving, but literally thriving. You've made a name for yourself without resorting to the usual child star shenanigans, and for that, I salute you. But, will Sabrina Carpenter become the new queen of pop? Well, only time will see. But one thing's for sure, she's not just in the game, she's changing it. Whether you're a fan or not, you've got to admit it's been one hell of a ride for her so far. So buckle up, folks, because in the past few years or anything to go by, Sabrina's just getting started. After all, for one, can't wait to see what she does next. Just don't expect me to start wearing mouse ears anytime soon. Forget that shit. Never have, never will. But as we wrap up this deep dive in Sabrina Carpenter, let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we witnessed. I mean, for a small town girl with big dreams to global pop sensation, I mean, her story is a testament to talent. I mean, hard work and the power of literally believing in yourself and having somebody believe in it with you and push you and give you the support that you need. So this goes out to all your parents and stuff like that. If you have kids that are wanting to get in the industry and you believe in them, please believe in them. If they're talented, they have the talent. Create, whatever they're doing. If it's music, if it's content creating, if it's anything, if they're good at it, don't discourage them. Let them be themselves. I mean, I think that's what set our generation apart from everybody else is our parents basically, we joke around about being latchkid kids, being home alone, but that gave us the courage to do things that nobody else would normally do. The kids now are scared to death because parents are always hovering over them, telling them, no, it's not a good thing, blah, blah, so support your kids. That's all I say. But the most remarkable thing about Sabrina is that how she managed to maintain her authenticity through her own rise. I mean, she's never changed, in an industry that often tries to mold young stars into certain images. She has stayed true to herself. So that's another big kudos. That's something else that's come out of it. It gives me positivity that there is a compassionate world somewhere out there. But, she put in her interview with Nylon, I'm just trying to be the most authentic version of myself and hoping that it resonates with people. And that right there, folks, that is what's going to make her huge. That's what's going to keep her on top and everything else. As long as she keeps that vision and she keeps that mission statement, she will always be on top. But, I mean, her fan base is growing. I mean, drawn not just her music, but her personality. And she does have a great personality. I mean, watch some of her videos, watch some of her concerts. She used her platform to speak out on issues she cares about. I mean, she doesn't use them like these other ones to promote shit just because they're getting paid to promote them. She actually believes in what she's promoting. I mean, this is from mental health to social justice. I mean, she knows how to use her position in the entertainment world to not influence, but to inform, and that's the way all entertainers should do. They should be able to use their influence to inform, or their position to inform, but not to influence. And we've got so many nowadays, especially in the last year, that have done nothing but try to influence people just because of who they are or what their status is in the Hollywood. But like I said, I mean, she's a force to be reckoned with. I mean, she's just not riding the wave of pop culture. Like I said, she is helping shape it. She is changing it. She is, with each new release she does, each performance, I mean, each creative endeavor, she's cementing her place in the pop music culture. I mean, she's going to be an icon. And like I said, will she overtake Taylor? I believe she will. I believe she will. I mean, it's too soon to tell, but one thing's for certain, she's here to stay. She's proven that she's talented, and she's proven that she has the drive, and she's proven that she has the staying power. I mean, good God, look at all the time she's put into it. So like I said, again, here's to you, Sabrina Carpenter, the girl who dared to dream big, who faced her challenges head on, and who's rewriting the rules. Congratulations to you, and I hope nothing but the best for you. But I do make your stardom continue to rise, and may she continue to inspire new generations to follow their dreams as well. Always let them know that no matter how impossible they may seem, there's always something out there you can do. But as we sign off, remember, in a world that often tries to put people in boxes, this one Disney actor that created something for herself has shown that it is possible to break free and chart your own course. And that, my friends, is a lesson worth learning, whether you're a pop star in the making or just trying to navigate your own path. But keep your eyes on her, because in the past, if her past is any indication, her future is going to be one hell of a show. And maybe one day we'll be saying, Taylor who? Anyways, this is Rebel. You have a good day. Peace.
You have been listening to The Rebel Lawson Show. Stay tuned. We will be going live on Stationhead and Rumble very soon with some behind the scenes and live chat. Till then, be sure to follow Rebel on X at Nation Underground. And remember to always take the blinders off and look at the whole story before making an informed decision. Thank you.